Chai with Manjula presents NRI, A Closer Look, a special series that focuses on some of the key issues that affect Indo-Americans and NRIs and takes a close look at solutions and prevention as well. Welcome to Chai with Manjula. Recently, we discussed the problem of suicide among our youth. And unfortunately, since then, the Indo-American community has lost a few more young lives to this silent epidemic. So we decided to look deeper into the pressures on our youth at home and outside. Priya Khanna from our team is with me. She met with a few teenagers in our community and will tell us what some of them had to say. So Priya, what were your findings in terms of the pressures that Indo-American kids are facing these days at home and outside?
The pressure to maintain the Indian values and the Indianness and to keep the Indianness alive is the most common pressure that I felt among the children that I interviewed.
Okay.
And there is a common stereotype that the Indian kids are primarily very studious and nerds. So this creates an academic pressure not only by the families to get high GPAs and get into good Ivy League schools, but even with their peers. And as a result, the kids are facing they feel that they are obligated to pursue the American dream.
I see.
And another important issue that I saw was the dating and marital issue.
Yeah, that's always a big one.
That is that the parents and the families stress upon that you get married within the same caste and religion.
Okay.
And this kind of creates a little kind of a rift between the kids and the parents today.
All right. I know you have a few clips of these children, so let's hear what they have to say.
Ivy League colleges are definitely the aim of every student here. And I think we're set up to a point, the pressure is definitely there. Like, you need to get into a good school. You compare yourself, you're like, why am I being put under so much pressure when other people that go to the same school I do, generally the Caucasian people, aren't being put under that much pressure.
Coming home and trying to be a boy that my grandparents would expect, like having traditional Indian customs, and then going to school and trying to be like a typical American boy.
But the stereotype definitely exists at our school.
She goes, Mom, can I go home with her? And she's like, no, because we don't take rides with Indian people.
When I went to Kentucky for a debate camp, people were kind of confused. Some people asked me if I was a feather Indian. Someone asked me who my chief was.
Kid who sat next to me in science, and he would just talk about curry and curry all day. And first of all, we don't even call our food curry, which is hilarious.
I don't know if you know this, but they have this joke about curry. They think Indian people eat curry.
Oh, I was joking with my grandmother. I was telling her, what if I don't marry an Indian? And she was like, I won't come to your wedding then. She started giving me a lecture on how not marrying Indian is like you're breaking off the tradition of continuing the culture.
They would definitely prefer for me to marry an Indian girl or date an Indian girl than any other girl.
There's obviously that Indian people are obviously really smart.
Well, I mean, there's the typical stereotypes about how Indians are supposed to be smart, and
it's mostly just the Indians are smart.
You have to face the social pressures, obviously, that a lot of people do not interact with Indian people because obviously they're Indian, they're not the same way that we are.
People just don't know what to expect, or people don't know like truly what Indians are.
Priya, you are absolutely right. The pressures are real on our children at home and outside at home for going to top colleges and marrying within the community and whatnot, as the kids said, and then outside to fit into the mainstream culture. So thank you so much for looking into this and bringing us a first-hand account.
Pleasure is mine.
NRI, A Closer Look, presented by Chai with Manjula and sponsored by the Tech Museum of Innovation, San Jose, California, a unique hands-on technology and science museum for people of all ages and backgrounds, which inspires innovations for the benefit of humanity. And Development Alternatives Group, a non-profit organization in India that brings together traditional knowledge and modern science for sustainable development at the community, national, and global level. My guest today is Nandini Verma, who has been a school psychologist for Hayward District in California for 25 years and was chosen Outstanding Psychologist for Northern California in 2002 by the California Association of School Psychologists. Nandini, it's great to have you here today.
My pleasure, Manjula.
Well, 25 years is a very long time to have been counseling. And you told me that you have counseled a lot of Indian kids all along. So today I would like you to give us a sense of what kind of challenges and issues our children are facing at home and outside, which are peculiar to them because of their ethnic background.
Basically, the pressures on children are pretty much uniform. Indians are more susceptible during, I'm going to separate it in three segments for you: elementary, middle, and high school.
Okay.
For elementary children, the pressures, academic pressure is one pressure that goes along throughout,
Okay.
whether it's middle school, elementary, or high school. The uniqueness I see in elementary school is more the language comes in the barrier when parents go to drop off the kids, and you can see that right from kindergarten all the way through third grade. After fourth, they mature a little bit and accept the uniqueness because of all the talks that schools do, the teachers do about we're all different.
I see.
So academic pressure is one that goes along throughout. Uniqueness for the elementary would be the language issue.
Okay.
Some children dress differently. When their parents come to drop them off, me personally, I always encourage parents to talk in the language that the other kids are talking in. If you start calling for your kid in your own language, they get totally embarrassed because other kids will ask them, hey, what's that? Who's that? That's number one. Number two would be the clothes, the way they dress. Sometimes the food you give them in the lunch boxes
Okay.
is so different, and they will either hide it
Oh,
or throw it.
I
If they have
see.
a couple of Indian kids, they might band together and share. But basically, in elementary school, these are the ones that bother kids the most.
Okay. So appearance, food, and language.
Yes.
Those three things.
Those three things.
Okay. The kids are very conscious about.
And remember, academics is always there.
Oh, yeah, that's always there. But, parents are also trying to instill a sense of pride about their own culture and heritage into their children. So, how do they do that?
Basically, all schools have multicultural days. They have ethnic groups, ethnic food, cultural this thing, and you come prepared for that. Showcase your culture the best, whether it's through dances, music, clothes, food. They have fashion shows. In middle school, the girls are very conscious, and so are the boys. And they generally have a multicultural food night. They'll have a multicultural dance night.
Okay.
And they'll have a multicultural fashion
So,
show.
introduce it through the schools.
Through the schools,
So, the other children also get familiar with it.
or invite the families to your homes. I always encourage parents to invite kids in a very, not like a party mood, just a non-informal setting. Come over, have tea. Because tea is very peculiar to Indians.
Right.
As you know, chai with Manjula.
Sure.
So invite them over for any kind of a social thing, even playing games, have a afternoon. You don't have to have a party. Just call them over.
So, introduce your culture to them.
them.
So that they get more familiar.
Open your home to them, your culture, and most people enjoy the variety of life. That's the spice of life.
Right,
The more variety you have, the more fun it is.
If your children see them accepting it, they feel more comfortable
If the
also.
parents are comfortable with the ethnicity, the kids all automatically imbibe it. The first generation parents have it harder. The second generation parents are easier
Right,
because they've been through the system and they know that.
right.
But for parents like you and me, we are the first generation parents.
Yeah.
Our kids had more of the social pressures and the academic pressures than their children will have now, just because of the fact of being here longer.
Right,
Imbibe the culture.
right. And now you are with the Hayward School District here in
Yes.
California. So, what percentage of children are South Asian?
South Asian procedure include the Filipino, the Chinese, and all. We're almost at a 60% if we use ethnicity. The maximum number of people for Hayward would be Indians are about 15%, which includes the Fiji Indians, and the Chinese are the other 30%, and we have Filipinos too. So these are three different cultures that are predominant besides the Latino. And
Yeah,
this
so we have a large presence of the Indian
Oh,
and
yes,
South Asian community here, and
definitely.
even then we see issues. So imagine in other states,
Yes, definitely.
it must be much harder.
See, Fremont is very, very Indian based.
Right.
And they have become so proactive, they actually have started having Hindi classes, which is not considered as a formal language over here. But I think that the parents talking about it, talking to the school board, bringing it up as an issue is a big thing.
Okay.
And Fremont Unified does offer Hindi classes right from grade 1.
That is great.
It's
That is
totally,
very
and the
good.
kids have that bag that says Hindi Jano, and it means Nole Hindi. And the other kids ask, and in some of the schools I'm familiar with, we have the regular kids from the American mainstream wanting to
Very
attend.
good. So that makes it easier on our children also to
Yes.
learn it with their peers,
And they
not
share
behind
it.
doors at
They
home.
share it, especially the kids who are from Korea and other South Asian countries. They do talk about how they say hello in their language, and
Okay.
it's a very nice feeling.
Okay, so those are some good ideas. So we'll take a short break here and we'll continue our conversation when we come back.
Sure.
If you are planning on retiring to a warmer location, then it's important that you visit Shanti Niketan. Shanti Niketan is the only Indian retirement resort community in the U.S., a private and gated community located in sunny and peaceful Orlando, Florida. The best place for Indians to retire. Call now for more information.
Now announcing an assisted living facility in Florida. Meetings for potential projects will be held in Los Angeles, California on Saturday, June 28th, and in Phoenix, Arizona on July 13th. For information, call 352-508-7060.
Chai with Manjula presents NRI, A Closer Look. Welcome back. My guest is Nandini Verma, a veteran school psychologist in California, and the topic is pressures on our youth. Nandini, you told us what the kids go through in early childhood at schools. Now walk us through the middle school and high school years, which can be a very turbulent time for any kid. So what do our kids go through at that time?
Pretty much the same with a few exceptions. For middle school kids and high school, the academic pressure is intense. And if they don't get the straight A's,
Right.
there's a lot of self-devaluation they feel. That's a big thing. Second comes their puberty, pre-puberty and puberty. So their
Right.
bodies are changing,
Right.
their hormones are raging. So it's very difficult on them because they are unable to talk about those issues, liking boys, liking girls in the home. We don't give them permission, and that's one thing I
Right.
think we can focus a little bit more on. Our kids go through basically academics, of course, for everyone, but the Indian
Right.
kids more so because they are all expected to be doctors or lawyers, nothing else.
No, but it's not easy for parents also because they feel responsible for steering their children in the right direction. Now, how do they know if a child is very much inclined towards music or dancing or something that is a passing phase and not really a calling?
See, as a parent, you always know
Okay.
what your child really loves. You see that glitter on their face.
So be
what
more
they-
tuned into.
Go more in tune with your child's needs. If he enjoys music, let him enjoy it. If
Okay.
it's not his calling, he's going to give it up. Trust me on that one.
Okay.
He'll give it up. The most important thing that I feel in teenage years is the feeling of empowering the child. Give
Okay.
a child time to grow. Each child grows at its own pace. Some children mature by the time they're 17. Some don't mature by the time they're 21. So
Okay.
give them time to grow and be a support system to them rather than you can't always be a parenting figure. You have to be the parent. You can be a loving parent. You can be an understanding parent rather than the punitive parent.
I see.
Punitive parenting is the most detrimental to a
So
child.
in other words, be friendly but not a friend.
Yes,
Your
be friendly to your child. Be loving to your child. But do not make the mistake of saying, I'm your friend, because you're supposed to be the parent.
Okay.
They have enough friends. And you teach them. Parents are yours forever. Friends come and go.
Okay, very good message.
So-
All right. Nandini, at high school stage, drugs and alcohol, all those also kick in. So what
everything
is
kicks
your
in.
advice for parents?
For high
there?
school, it's definitely alcohol is involved, smoking is involved, which includes drugs, and of course, sex. It's a big thing.
Yeah, and
It's a
that's
new-
something the
that's
Indian
something
parents
as Indian
are not
parents-
comfortable talking about.
None of us are. So I would
Right.
definitely talk to the way I dealt with it was I was in touch with the school counselors. My kids never wanted to see me at their school site,
Right.
so I stayed away.
So through the counselors, you
Through
can.
the counselors, I would let them know. I said, please talk to my kid. I can't do it.
Okay.
Or can I some way be part of it while you're talking?
Right,
that
right.
part.
I
Trying
wish
to
there
get
were some
involved.
workshops for parents, South Asian parents. that teaches them how to talk.
You can coordinate it, Manjula. I'll be willing
With
to do
your
that.
help, yeah.
You can coordinate. I'll do that. I'll help
Right,
you out
right.
with that.
So right now you think through the counselors you can have that
Yes,
talk.
your counselors are your best bet
Okay.
in terms of helping you understand your child. Your counselor will also tell you that if they don't go to UC Berkeley or Harvard,
Right.
it's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Life moves on, people move on, and you grow.
Parents should be more involved
Totally more involved.
so that they are aware of what's going on.
Attend every single open house that your
Okay.
school offers. Talk to your teacher every day. Most teachers right now are on the net. You can call them up. You can leave messages for them. They all have email IDs. You can stay in touch with your teacher all the time.
Nandini, bullying is a big problem these days, and you hear of some children even taking their own lives because of bullying. So give us some examples of what kind of bullying goes on and how can parents help their children?
See, bullying is basically at 3 different levels. One is the physical bullying, which is kicking, hitting, name calling. Then we have the social bullying, which is definitely the social media, leaving people out, putting nasty comments, name calling. That's also part of social bullying.
Okay.
And then we come on to the third kind, which is verbal. Totally, outside, in the playground and all, it'll be very, very much of a bad language.
I see.
Name calling, all the 4-letter words they will use. We don't call it as bullying, but basically it has exactly the same effect as bullying. If you call a child names so many times, it leaves a lasting impact on their self-worth. And that is what we don't want the child to have a negative self-worth or not to feel important enough.
Right.
So that is a key thing. My advice to parents is, for the social bullying, you must watch what your child is doing on Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook is such a big thing. Twitter, Facebook, all these things are so predominant in high school kids or maybe even middle school.
Okay.
7th grade onwards, it's the social media. You have to you have to have an iPad, you have to have an iPhone.
Okay.
You have to have access to the computer.
So parents should keep an eye on
Keep an
what's
eye
going
on them and understand what it is. They really need to get into understanding what bullying is.
Okay.
As Indians, we were not raised with that. It was like good manners, bad manners.
Right.
It's no more manners issue. It is totally where you're literally damage the child permanently
I see.
if it goes on for too long.
Okay.
And schools are pretty conscious about it. Teachers, we have little workshops for teachers and parents. I would encourage all parents to go to the free ones.
Okay.
They always have at least, Hayward I know has at least 2 in-services for parents for bullying.
Okay.
Definitely attend that.
Okay, we're running out of time. So real quick, what's your message for parents?
My one important message is you must be in touch with your child at all times.
Okay.
No matter how mad you are, you still love your kid, you want the best for your child, and you truly need to see what they're reading,
Okay.
what they're watching, and what they're doing on Facebook.
Okay, and your message for the kids out there?
For the kids, parents love you more than anybody else.
Okay.
Parents are there to stay. Friends come and go. So when you feel like your parents don't understand your friends, talk to your parent. What is it about my friend you don't like? Bring that friend over.
Okay.
Let them chit-chat with your parents.
Okay.
So your parents have to know where you are.
Nandini, thank you so much for your advice and for coming by.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Manjula. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions regarding the websites that parents go on, I can always leave some information for you.
That'll be great.
Websites recommended by Nandini Verma: stopbullying.gov, kidshealth.gov, apa.org, thebullyproject.com. Books recommended by Nandini Verma: 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher, My Secret Bully by Trudy Ludwig, Speak Up and Get Along by Scott Cooper, Our Suicidal Teenagers, Where Are You God by Edna Honeysett.
Pressures on Indo-American kids are real and at times overwhelming. Nandini Verma gave us some crucial information and advice on the subject. In the coming weeks, we'll discuss the problem of bullying and stereotypes in our schools. Now it's time for a break. We'll have technology benefiting humanity when we come back. Technology benefiting humanity. Presented by Chai with Manjula and sponsored by the Tech Museum of Innovation, San Jose, California. A unique hands-on technology and science museum for people of all ages and backgrounds, which inspires innovations for the benefit of humanity.
Hi, my name is Joshua Hernandez, and I've just performed the hands-on science workshop at the Tech Museum of Innovation. Thank you.
Welcome to our special segment, Technology Benefiting Humanity. We are at the Tech Museum of Innovation in San Jose, California with Joe Urbano, Membership Manager at the Tech. Joe, it's great to be here at the Tech Museum. There's always something new or fun happening at this place. And it's a non-profit establishment, so the Tech counts a lot on community support. And membership is one important channel of community support. So tell us about that today. What does it mean to be a member of the Tech?
So first, I just wanted to thank you for having me on the program and taking the time and interest to support our organization and especially the membership program. So today, I did want to talk a little about the opportunity to become a member and kind of what that means, especially from a community perspective. One of the big things that I think some people forget is that the Tech is in fact a nonprofit. So what that means is, and one of the most rewarding things about that is it's an opportunity to give back to your community by supporting the Tech and becoming a member. And doing so through an organization that supports education and learning and commits to innovation as well. There's no doubt that with our membership program, it offers a lot of benefits and there's a lot that you can take advantage of. One of the big things that I like to focus on is that the Tech and kind of what we can do for you as well as a member. We really expect to be a resource for our members and for our community, and they can come and they can partner up with some of the programs that we have, many which are exclusive to just members, and it's an opportunity to involve themselves in special programming, which you can't always get elsewhere. But as a member, we've partnered with several organizations to bring specialized programming, labs, even some of our traveling exhibits are all possible because of the relationships that we built in the community. So it's a way to kind of open doors for you as a member to be able to take advantage of that and use us as a resource.
Okay, now do you have different levels of membership, different packages?
We do have several levels of membership. Just to name a few, we have individual levels, we have family levels. Most of the memberships that we see are on a family level.
Okay.
We even offer special memberships to educators, so that includes teachers and after-school providers, as well as we'll soon be offering memberships to students as well.
Okay, that sounds great. And how do members contribute towards the mission of the Tech, which is inspiring the innovator in everyone, or technology benefiting humanity?
So, like you said, the mission of the Tech, inspire the innovator in everyone, and that's really the message that we try to put out there. And as a member, your membership dollars are helping us to reinvest in our galleries, in our programs, so that we can be as innovative as possible, and so that we can work with the community and our members to give them the tools and to help learn and educate them on what's new in technology, what's new in science.
Sounds great, and this is certainly a wonderful way of giving back, like you said, to the community. So I would give out the contact information here for membership information. Email membership@thetech.org. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Much.
It's a pleasure.
It's time once again for Reflections with Jessi. Today, Jessi Kaur talks about the power of a smile or a hug. Here is Jessi.
Welcome to Reflections with Jessi. We all know how important good communication skills are in personal and professional relationships. A very important aspect of communication, which is getting much due attention these days, is non-verbal communication. It is said that 70% of all communication is non-verbal. I'm not sure how realistic that number is. Frankly, I cannot follow a foreign language movie without subtitles. Nonetheless, verbal cues are a significant part of how we communicate. Having spent much of my career as a talent acquisition consultant in high-tech companies, I cannot emphasize the importance of a firm handshake in a job interview. It speaks volumes and creates a positive impression even before the interview begins. A limp handshake doesn't go unnoticed either, but in a disfavorable way. Our faces, our body language, whether we frown or squint our eyes, lean in or lean back, cross our arms or legs, are all non-verbal gestures that either substantiate what we are communicating verbally or contradict our words. In many ways, non-verbal communication is more reliable than words. If our eyes wander off when someone is speaking to us, it is a sure sign of lack of interest on our part, even if our words are expressing otherwise. Our face and body mirror our emotions and give them away. Just as it is important to choose our words carefully, it is equally essential to be mindful of our non-verbal communication. When the two are in sync, communication is clear. Rolling the eyes or shaking the head, sneering while someone is talking, sends strong messages of disapproval. And it's as hurtful as harsh words. When spouses resort to such non-verbal communication, you can bet there is a lack of respect and the marriage may be in trouble. A warm hug, a gentle touch, a pat on the shoulder are comforting messages that reassure and vitalize relationships. Remember as a child when we got hurt, a kiss from mommy made the pain go away? Gentle touches are reassuring gestures and are pain busters even in adulthood. My absolute favorite non-verbal communicator is a smile. More than a decade ago, I read a beautiful story about the magic of a smile. It has remained etched in my memory. Remember those Chicken Soup for the Soul books that came out in the 90s? They contained real-life inspirational stories. One of them was about a prisoner in a Nazi camp who was watching the prison guard on duty. The prisoner smiled when their eyes met. Spontaneously, the guard smiled back. The two started talking about their family, their wife, their children, their hopes. That night, the guard helped the prisoner escape. The prisoner lived to tell the story of how a smile saved his life. A smile connects, fosters a bond, and indicates all is well. It feels good, it looks good, it almost always gets a response. A smile in exchange for a smile. It's a great currency. A smile may help you get a job, a date, an upgrade in a hotel or an airline. But don't smile to secure a surreptitious deal. Smile naturally. Smile spontaneously. Smile because you're alive and well. Smile because it's a beautiful day and make someone's day by smiling at them. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep smiling and always be in eternal optimism. Sharti Kala.
Our thanks to Jessi Kaur. That's all for today. You may watch this show again at chaivwithmanjula.org or on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you again after 2 weeks.